You'll remember that we have two combo boxes on our form. One is the machines combo box. Now that will just populate the list of unique machines. We should end up with the 6 machines in here. And then there's the levels. There are 3 levels for each machine that can be selected. And what we do here is we get our levels from the back-end database, and then in the production one we change these from morning, afternoon and evening to, is it low, medium and high or something like that for our levels. Dead easy for us to convert the application to the synoptic requirement. So that's what we're going to be working on now, and conveniently we've already dealt with it, most of it. So what we've got here is in our lists class we have 2 methods, the first one of which is machines. And what it does is it goes away and gets this unique list of machines, because it gets it from the text file using the import data class, which gets the data file, searches it and returns everything as a data table. Then we do this for each. We just check for uniqueness there. If it's already in, we don't add it, and so forth, and that's it. And that's the same for lists. So we're going to get a unique set of names that can be chosen for our machines and our lists. So that's dead easy. So let's get on with it and do it. So I've come back to our page activity, and what we need to do is we need to add 2 methods to our machine. So click it, and we get to the relevant piece of the XAML that relates to that particular control there. So the 2 methods I want to add are, when the machine loads, I want it to be populated with the list of machines. So loaded, tab, and its new event handler, tab. Okay, and then the other one we want to get is on selection changed, or selection changed actually it's called in this one, selection changed. Okay, new event handler. It doesn't have any new event handlers related. It doesn't have any event handlers existing connected to that particular method. Tab, and we've got our 2 methods for this particular control. So I'm going to press F12 inside the words there, and they've been added here. Now I've already got my region, so before I go anywhere else I'm going to put them in there, and that just keeps everything neat. So I'm trying to number these in the logical order for you so that you fully understand what's going on there. Right, so let's just work out what's happening here. The loaded one is what happens when the form is loaded. I shouldn't have done all this. I hate this tabbing stuff. So I shouldn't have done that, but I'm going to line it up. Right. So the loaded happens when the form loads. The actual control is loaded onto the page, and it's really important that we realise that that's a particular type of event that's going to mean that when this is loaded, as the page is loaded, we can do things in the control. And what we want to do is to populate it with a valid list of controls. I've got everything lined up now, so it was bugging me. Gee whiz, it's getting bad. Right, so I've got my machines loaded and the selection changed. So what we want to do is that when we do any selection in our combo box, we want to know what was chosen by the user. Now when this loads, it automatically selects an item, so we'll get that one on the first round anyway. We don't have to explicitly select something the first time we use it. So that's good. So the way in which a combo box works is a little bit different to buttons. I have to put a kind of an intermediary variable to handle the sending of the signal from the combo box. So I'm going to paste in the code here. So we've got a combo box which is acting as the sender, and we've got to trap what the sender does. The combo has an items source. That's what makes the words that you can select in the combo box appear. And where are we getting that? We're getting that from machines. And that was in our data methods. So we've already made this method, machines, and we're going to be able to use that now to get the item source for our combo box. Then we make our first selection, and we say set it to index 0, the first item in the list, because they're 0-based indexes. And of course, the minute we do that, that fires this event because the selection has changed. So that means that we can do that. So let me just get the code for the selection change. So we want to do an additional bit of work here. What we want to try and do is that if it's changed on the first time as well, we want to be able to recognize whether the item that's been selected is treadmill. Now it won't be on the first one, of course, because the treadmills are not the first one on the list. So what we do is, right, so we do exactly the same as here. We've got a var combo which is acting as the sender, and it's the selected machine combo. Select machine equals selected machine, which is one of our variables up here, selected machine. And now we say it's whatever is now in that combo, and that's a slightly different way of getting the text out of a combo box, and it's a wee bit convoluted, a bit around the houses and back again, but there you go, that's how you do it. Now we now have this knowing what the selected machine is. Now if it's a treadmill that's been selected, then what we want to do is to make sure that our inclined checks blocks visible is visible. Yeah, so if it's visible, otherwise we want to make it hidden, and that's how you do that. And we want to know to hide the the label and the box itself. So if you remember, let's see if I can find this. That's this control here. That's the label, and that's the box itself. So if somebody selects treadmill here, we want these to show. But if it's any other machine, we want them to be hidden. So that's actually quite good code. It's quite responsive in terms of what the user would like, because they don't know what the rules are unless you kind of make it easy for them to follow them. So let's deal with the other combo box, which is the level combo box. So what I need to do is I need to add my two methods here as well. So I'll just move this up in line. I must get into the habit of doing that. So its name is there, so just after its name we're to loaded. Now it recognises we've got some loaded events. Why would it want you to offer that? Why would it want to offer those to you? It may be, for example, that you want one method to fire every time a combo box is changed. So it may be that every time a combo box is changed, you've got a method which is loaded which checks whether there's still an internet connection, for example. So you might want to load one method into various controls, but we don't. We want to have a different method here, so we choose new event handler, tab, and then another one, selection changed, and once again a new event handler, because once again you might have the same method to run if in both combo box cases. So let's do this. So F12, and once again they're outside in the region, so let's make space for them in the region. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong bit. That's just dead easy to do that. Dead easy to get the inside the wrong set of brackets. So I'm going to try and do this time. Yeah, they line up better if you do it from the beginning. If you select from the beginning of the line, you don't get this tab nonsense that I hate it. I don't know why, but there you go. Right, this is a little bit simpler. The loaded combo box for the levels, the loaded events are for levels, is exactly the same as we did for the machines. So I don't need to explain that any further. Just goes and gets them and puts them in. Now the selection changed event for this particular combo doesn't have the additional job to do to control the other items' visibility. So we just do that. And because I copied, not cutted, to try and avoid the tabbing, do that. And we've got our combo boxes loaded with the data from our database. Now we're using this simple text box. Remember, we use the import data method just to bring items in from a text file. Sorry, not a text box, a text file. So it's kind of artificial, but this method is exactly the same. You would just have, instead of levels doing something with a text list, a list of text items, it goes to a database, it gets the stuff, parses it, gets the unique names, does exactly the same. So what you've got here is where your interface is working. That will always be the same. You would just change the way this method levels works in the background. It would still work as long as you give it the same name. So that's really good in terms of making your code maintainable. It is often the case that during debug or during build you'll be using a test data set, and then during production you're using a different data set, and you just change it at the back end. It gets the right data, nothing has to change in terms of names used here. Now I added another feature here that I think is common, that I like to use in debug builds, is I show this message box just to show, does this work? You know, so that I get the right things and I'm making sure that I haven't made any sources of code wrong. And it's just what I do. It's just one of those things I do when I'm building. So right, so that's our controls built. Oh, I didn't realise I'd made this here. Oh gosh, I'll have to move stuff around, but don't worry, I'll move it around so that it's in the right things. So just to sum up, what I've done is we've done two lots of controls. We've done two controls. We've done the machines combo box and we've done the levels combo box. Now I've put these in regions, as you can see. So that's the code for the machine combo box, and that's the code for the level combo box. You don't have to do this. I do this to help you to help me with the video preparation actually. And we've got the methods here for the machines, which does the load, and the levels, which does the load. But in this case, in the machines, we say that if it's a treadmill, we're going to show those other additional controls so that people can then select the inclination. So that's all we've done. Right, so in the next video, we'll finish this form off.